Hi, I'm Hannah, and I am talking to you from the streets of Cusco, Peru, in South America. This is the beautiful street of Carmen Alto, and this is my little store. We have the knitting machine, make a lot of things here. Got my yarn supplies, my little design wall, and a beautiful view. Okay, so I'm super excited to tell you a bit more about my career path. I'm from a little village in the north of England called Grindleford, which is just in between Sheffield and Manchester. Currently living in Cusco, Peru, which I never really expected to be. But I have my list of questions here. So, so first, when did you first become interested in textiles? So I learned how to knit and embroider and crochet mostly from my grandmother's when I was super young, like about 4 or 5 years old. We would just do it to pass the time. Like my mum taught me as well. I always loved to make things. And I loved art and drawing and all that kind of stuff. I followed that through at school. Like I loved doing art, loved doing textiles. I did GCSE textiles. Loved making things for the school plays and making like weird and wonderful things, like different costumes and stuff like that. I also did textiles at A-level, which I also loved. It was an art-based textiles, so I looked at like different molds and lichens and stuff like that, and enjoyed like getting creative with fabric. Just to go through my career path. So I did an art foundation at Chesterfield College. Again, I loved doing the textile and the fashion and kind of developing textiles and then applying it to the body. I think that's when I really realized that, this is what I loved. I wanted to put a lot of energy into it. I was excited when I was doing it. I had a lot of time for it. So after Chesterfield College, I squeezed in a year of travel because I always love to travel whenever I have the opportunity. So went down to Central America to a little country called Belize, and spent about 3 months there. Had a bit of a year out. And then I went to Brighton University on the south coast, and they had, I don't know if it's still the same, but I did a BA in textiles and fashion design with business studies. So I really liked that there was the option to do the business side as well, and it was a 4-year course with the 3rd year in industry. So I also chose it because I wanted to get real life experience of what it was like to work in the industry before being thrown into it to work it out for myself. Loved Brighton University. It was super practical. That's where I learned to use the knitting machine that I have here, and learning those skills of how to knit and how the knitting technology works on a really practical level really set me up for the rest of my career. Loved that, loved being creative in that way, loved working on the machine and like making things myself. And then in my year out, I did 3 different internships over the year. I worked for a magazine and worked for a designer called John Rusher in Dublin, and also a trend prediction agency in London. And again, also squeezed in a little bit of traveling. Went to India for nearly 2 months, Always finding the opportunity to travel whenever I can. So that was great. And then, after Brighton University, I got a job at a knitwear swatching agency. So developing new stitches, new designs, working on the machine again. That was really great practical experience of having a career where you get to make things, which is always what I wanted to do. So after a few years in London, I was feeling a little bit frustrated about having to always do things for other people, like having to think of ideas. I always had a lot of my own ideas. I wanted to explore those for myself. And I had some friends who were already living in New York. And I was also traveling to New York quite a lot through that job in London. So I applied to go to Parsons to do my MFA, or MA, as it's called in England. So I got a place at Parsons on the MFA in Fashion Design and Society. I also managed to get a full scholarship because in America the fees are incredibly high for studying. So that made it possible for me to go to New York. So I was in New York for 3 years. 2 of those were studying, doing the MA, which was also amazing. Really got to delve into my own work. Really formed. Sorry, super noisy. Really formed the basis of a lot of the work that I still do now, combining different craft techniques, different ways of embroidering and crocheting and knitting, and kind of mixing them together in new and interesting ways. So after Parsons, I got a job at Calvin Klein Collection. So worked there, working on the runway shows, which were amazing, really good experience. Crazy hours. We would sometimes finish at 5 a.m. and the night before a show was just crazy. But it was great experience. And then, because to stay in America, most people, if you're a British national, you need a visa to be in America, so you need a job to sponsor you to do that. And nothing was quite working out in New York, and then I got offered a job in California. And I never expected that I would ever live in California, but said yes, threw myself in without knowing anyone, and spent 5 years living and working on the West Coast, just south of LA, and then moved up to LA proper as well at the end. There I was working for a company called St. John and doing more textile development, a bit more technical, working with technicians on much more advanced technology than I have here, and developing knitted fabrics for designs for the company. That was also a really amazing experience. I got to travel to Italy often, and being in California is amazing. It's a beautiful place to live, very warm and sunny, and the beach is right there. So that was pretty exciting too. And then I also worked for some companies up in LA, in the city. So about 2 years ago, I got offered a random opportunity to come to Peru to source factories to work with here. And I was a little bit fed up with working on a computer all the time, being disconnected to the process of making, and kind of looking for the next thing. And I absolutely loved Peru, and I met some people here who had their own business, were able to be successful here without a lot of startup money, without having to get investment. So I thought I would just come here for a few months and have a look and see what life was like here. So at the end of 2019, I came here for 3 months and travelled, and by then I had built up a good enough network of clients who I now do production for as well. I came back here at the beginning of 2020, pretty much exactly a year ago, and then got stuck here in quarantine. So I wasn't really expecting to live here properly, but this is a place that I really love to be, so I've decided to stay here for a while. And yeah, so I just opened a little store where I do my own designs, my own work, and sell things from here. And then I also have a client base that I organize design and production of knitwear for. Most of those clients are in America, and then we ship products from here that are produced by factories and women here, and we ship them back to America to be sold under the other brands that I work for. So this has allowed me to have a much more flexible lifestyle. I don't really have any set hours. Sometimes I work a lot every day and get loads of stuff done. Sometimes I just take a week off, and I'm able to be way more flexible, which is just not possible, hasn't been possible for me in America or England. So yeah, Peru is a really amazing place to be able to try things out. Okay, another question, like day-to-day tasks. Yeah, so sometimes I'm on the computer doing tech packs and arranging production for other people. Sometimes I'm in the shop, like knitting on the machine or coming up with new designs and passing them over to women to make for me. So it's really, really mixed, and that suits me really well. That's my personality, doesn't really like to have a regular schedule. So yeah, what do I enjoy most? What I enjoy most is being able to do things in a really sustainable way, and know where I'm getting my materials, how things are dyed, how things are made, what the women are being paid. Like, I can pay them directly. I'm not paying a factory, not paying a middleman. So I can have a direct impact on the lives of other women. That is definitely a huge mission for me to be here and do the work that I'm doing, is that I know there are a lot of women out here who really benefit from having work that they can do at home so that they can look after their families at the same time. And I also want to not be using any nylon, acrylic or polyester. I want to be using natural materials. So I'm in charge of all those decisions, which is really, really satisfying. And I can do things in a way that I feel proud to be in the fashion industry. When I was working for the big companies, I didn't really feel like that. I felt like there was a lot of waste. Things could be done a lot better. Like, the fashion industry is kind of outdated in the way things are done. So I didn't really feel happy being a part of that. But now I feel really proud of what I can do here and offer something beautiful to people that they can't get anywhere else. So yeah, I didn't ever expect to live in Peru. I've always been really open to opportunities that come my way. Like, said yes to things that maybe scare me a bit or I don't feel like I'm quite ready for, but just, go for it if it feels right. So I think, last question. What would you tell your 15-year-old self? I think I would say learn how to follow your heart. Like, learn what makes you feel alive. Learn what you love to do. And learn, like, when it's a yes. Like, when your heart and your body say yes to something and when they say no to something. I feel like right now that's the only way that you can make a decision. It's just to feel out, like, what is right for you. And maybe it won't be right for other people. Maybe people think it's a great opportunity, but you say no to it because it's just not a yes. But yeah, like, always, keep doing things that scare you. Learn what your heart says about what you love to do, and you can work out the rest. So yeah, happy to have any questions if anyone wants to ask me anything. Yeah, thanks so much. Ciao.